Hi, in this video I'm going to be picking the winners for Week 18 of NFL season 2025. I got 16 games to pick, including 3 upset picks, and then also for teams still in the mix and in contention to win a Super Bowl. If not most of them, I'll tell you who's a contender and who's a pretender. So there's no Thursday night game this week, but there's 2 games on Saturday. First game to pick on Saturday is Carolina Panthers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game decides who wins the division and who secures one of the final remaining spots in the NFC playoff picture. So one team will make the playoffs if they win, and the other team will miss the playoffs if they lose. A very significant game. One of the great matchups to look forward to in week 18 of the NFL season. I picked Tampa Bay to win the division before the season started. So they're pretenders. They're on a 4-game losing streak. It's kind of like they've been inconsistent. Was watching the Insiders last night and they weren't on board with them. So that's some pretty legit intel. Even if they did win, like the division, who cares? Carolina Panthers, you guys are pretenders as well. You guys are definitely pretenders. I'm gonna pick the Panthers to win this game, because they've just been better. Now they're still pretenders, But if either of these teams win, if the Bucks win, at least I got my division pick right. I think the Panthers are gonna win, so I'm picking them. But there's like no realistic chance that either of these teams will win the Super Bowl this year. It's just not possible. So I guess it is possible if all the other teams just forfeited, like the bus didn't show up. The plane got delayed for 2 days; they couldn't make it. Yeah, that's that. But I got the Panthers, and that's also my first of 3 upset picks. Actually, the Panthers winning is an upset pick because, man, who knows? And then the other Saturday game, the Saturday night game, also an important game in the playoff picture. Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco 49ers. Now, this game not only decides who wins their division, the NFC West. Both teams are already in the playoffs. It also determines which one of these teams will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. That would secure the winning team a first-round bye in the playoffs of the NFL. So only the number 1 seed in each conference, the AFC and the NFC, gets the first-round bye in the playoffs. It's really valuable. A really valuable pass, a much better chance to win the Super Bowl if you're the number 1 seed, because you only have to win 3 games in a row in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl, as opposed to 4 games in a row like the rest of the field. Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco 49ers. This is my second upset pick of 3 of the week. I'm picking San Francisco 49ers to win the game. Seattle Seahawks, you guys are pretenders. I never heard of you. You know what? Sam Darnold last year in Week 18 to win the division and get the number 1 seed. You guys lost to Detroit. So I predict it will happen again. San Francisco 49ers, you guys are pretenders. You guys are the same team, the same coach, the same players that fall short every time. This year you might be thinking, hey, the Chiefs aren't here, we can win this thing, but it's not like those times. I don't believe in you. I don't know. You guys are older. It's not, I think you're a regular season team, and I don't think you guys are going to win the Super Bowl. Let's move on to Sunday. A lot of boring matchups that who cares about them, but also some gems in here to look forward to. Let's pick all of them because that's what I'm doing. New Orleans Saints at Atlanta Falcons, and we can also talk about some of the other teams too. Man, the Falcons, you're in my top two most boring like teams. Falcons, like you guys are 7-9 or 8-8 like for the last 5 years. Honestly, if I was in Georgia and if I was your fan, like man, this is just so horrible. When will something good happen for us? I wouldn't want to be a fan anymore. I don't know. But I did stick through all those losing seasons for the Lions, like growing up. I mean, it was like, I don't know, like 20 years of bad luck. And I don't know, the Pistons were bad for like the last 10, 15 years. I sat through all that. So if you guys are like me, you'll just be sitting through that 7-9, nonsense. There was that, yeah, Jeff Fisher knows about it. If you guys have seen Hard Knocks, I'm picking the New Orleans Saints to win the game. Next game to pick is Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals. Who cares about this game? I don't know. The Bengals are -7. I'm picking Cincinnati Bengals. I got to get these last couple of picks right or match the experts. So, I mean, some people might pick the Browns. I'm just going to, -7 is a big spread. I'm taking Cincy. Next game to pick is Green Bay Packers at Minnesota Vikings. Another game, like, who cares? Starters aren't playing, I think, for Green Bay. And then, is it going to, yeah, the third stringer's, like, on for Minnesota at this point. But Minnesota's, like, -7. So I'm just picking Minnesota Vikings to win the game. Green Bay Packers, contenders or pretenders? I would say the Packers are contenders. I would say it's like the year of the wild card. That's what I said in my preview show. Even with the loss of Micah Parsons, they've been there before. Maybe it's I just feel like it could be their time to break through. They made the trade for Parsons. They want to win. They're serious. I just feel like, I don't know, the vibes coming out of Wisconsin is kind of like positive, and it's a young team, and there's that thing they said, like what Favre and Rodgers won when they were like 27 right now, and now Love is 27. So, maybe like all signs point to Green Bay. Even if you guys are a bunch of miserable cheeseheads. Next game to pick is Dallas Cowboys at New York Giants. Who cares about this game? Both these teams honestly I don't think they met their expectations. Maybe the Cowboys, like to some people, met their expectations if they thought they were going to be bad. I would say they didn't meet their expectations. Nonetheless, I'm picking the Cowboys to win the game. They're -3.5. That's all I really care about for the game. Maybe the games matter, but they're kind of boring for me right now because it's like meaningless from like a spectator like myself standpoint. But that's okay. We got playoffs to look forward to and a bunch of great games on week 18. I love NFL playoffs, man. It's like the best sporting event, like, of all time. I just love it. And it all comes down to this. Yeah. Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the next game to pick. I'm obviously picking the Jaguars. It's an easy game. They have to win this game. They win the game, they win the division. That's it. They're already in the playoffs. But if they wanted to win the division, they got to win this game, and I think they will. Jacksonville Jaguars, contenders or pretenders? The Jags are contenders. They control games. They're going to win the division over teams that, I don't know, are maybe favored again ahead of them. They're on a winning streak. I don't know, they won 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row. They're really lovable. They're really magical. People don't talk about them or see them, but they are a contender. So I think they could go the distance. Next game to pick is Indianapolis Colts at Houston Texans. If Houston wins this game and Jacksonville loses, then Houston wins the division and not Jacksonville. But Houston's also already in the playoffs. Indianapolis is eliminated. Houston's going to show up and win this game. Contender or pretender? Houston Texans. Houston Texans contenders. They're like the Jags. They won like 8, 9, 10 games in a row going into the playoffs. Some of these teams going into the playoffs are really hot and really good. And I feel like the AFC is a little stronger and a little more competitive, and they got more contenders too. I said it before last week, and I'll say it again. Houston Texans, legit dark horse to win the Super Bowl right now this year. They got it. They got the stuff that they need to do it. Not saying that they will. They're contenders. Okay, next game to pick. Now we're on to the 4 o'clock set. Well, the 4 o'clock Eastern time PM set. New York Jets at Buffalo Bills. Bills going to win. Because of the spread, I don't know who's playing or who's not. I don't think the game is that significant because the spread was like -5. It must mean, some important people. Maybe Allen's not playing. Bills. Contenders or pretenders? I would say they're contenders. They're there every year. It's the year of the wild card. They're a wild card team. Kansas City's not there. So they always lose to. Like, who could stop? Like, Buffalo's experienced and, honestly, I hope Buffalo wins this year. But not necessarily them. I hope a lot of teams win too. Next game to pick, Detroit Lions at Chicago Bears. Lions, great season. Maybe next year we can win the Super Bowl. This game is meaningless for you guys. You guys are eliminated from contention. Chicago, I'm just going to pick you because you're -3. I guess you're still going to play for some playoff seeding maybe. I'm picking Chicago Bears. Bears, contenders or pretenders? I'm leaning toward pretenders. They won so many games because of their turnover margin. And they were a little lucky. So they're pretenders. Teams in the playoffs are going to take care of the ball a lot better. They're not going to fall for something so easily, like the Bears' style of play. Next game to pick. Los Angeles Chargers at Denver Broncos. Justin Herbert's not playing. They were eliminated from the division race last week, with their loss. They're still going to be a wild card team, so they're in. Denver Broncos, they win this game. They win the number 1 seed. They win the division. They win the first round bye in the playoffs. They're -12.5. The Denver Broncos are going to win. I'm going to pick them. They're going to win. Contender or pretender? We'll do both these teams because they're both in the mix. The Chargers. I'm going to say Chargers. You guys, for once in your life, you're contenders. Because you got Coach Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. Not John, like his brother. They're easy to confuse, but I remember because I'm a Lions fan and we had Jim Schwartz and there was that handshake controversy. So I always remember Jim Harbaugh is the one who didn't shake Coach Schwartz's hand. And I didn't like that. And a lot of people around here don't like Harbaugh here in Michigan, but I like Jim Harbaugh, besides that handshake thing. I like the part where from what I saw, I like the part where he lost in the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. I like that part. The 49ers are always losing in the Super Bowl. I liked Colin Kaepernick at first, but then I didn't like him. But that's besides the point. I like Jim Harbaugh because then he became the head coach of University of Michigan, and they won the college football championship not too long ago. So that's my home state. I mean, my alma mater is Wayne State University, but they don't got a Division I football program. So I root for both the Michigan State Spartans and the Michigan Wolverines. So it was like I won the title that year, and I deserve the football title, being from Michigan. Um, I'm still like fairly young, so Lions, I deserve the football title, you know. So nonetheless, with that coach, you know, I would say the Chargers are contenders. Denver Broncos, you guys are contenders. Um, you got a good coach too. You got the first round bye. You guys could easily win the thing. I think that you guys, are the favorites. You guys probably have to be the favorites to win the AFC. I hope the Bills will win. I think the Broncos will win. It's not my official prediction or anything like that. I'm just like favoring the Broncos to come out of the AFC. I wasn't planning on making a Super Bowl prediction, so maybe at the end I will. Next game to pick is Kansas City Chiefs at Las Vegas Raiders. Who cares? Starters ain't playing. Chiefs got the favor in the spread, the -5.5. I'm taking the Chiefs. Next game to pick, Arizona Cardinals at Los Angeles Rams. Just picking the Rams. The Cardinals are bad. And the Rams, they're already a wild card team. I guess for both teams, it's not that meaningful of a game, but the Rams are -5.5. Pretty big favorite. I'm picking the Rams. The Rams, you guys are contenders. Sorry, it's New Year's Eve. There's people here at the family house. People are going to be coming over and stuff. Happy New Year's. Rams, you guys are contenders. You got the coach, you got the quarterback. You're the wild card. Rams, you're up. It could be you. Next game to pick is Miami Dolphins at New England Patriots. New England in play for the number 1 seed if Denver loses and they win. I think New England will win against Miami. I'm just going to pick them. They're the minus. They're going to play their starters anyway, I think. Maybe they'll change their minds at the end. I don't know if Denver wins. Who knows? Well, actually, Denver plays at 4 as well. So it doesn't matter. They're going to play their starters. They're going to win. Now, do I think they're contenders or do I think they're pretenders? I think they're pretenders. It's not the Tom Brady Patriots. I don't believe in them just yet. Washington Commanders at Philadelphia Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. They're the favorites in the spread. I'm just picking the favorites here because who knows? With this week 18, it's just easy to pick the favorites. The favorites will probably win. But not at all instances. I had 3 upsets: Carolina, San Fran, and New Orleans. Philadelphia Eagles, you guys are most certainly contenders. Okay, I will make my Super Bowl prediction right now because I'm at it. I would say the Eagles will represent the NFC. I think they're the best team in the NFC. And I think the Broncos are the best team in the AFC. Who should I pick to win the Super Bowl? I'll just say Denver Broncos will win the Super Bowl. I'll just ride with them. And then one more game to pick is Baltimore Ravens at Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is very important because it decides who will win their division and who will take that last spot available in the AFC playoffs. One team will win and be in, and one team will lose and be left out. I picked Baltimore before the season started to win the division. They're -3.5. I'm picking Baltimore. Baltimore, contender or pretender? Baltimore's a contender. Baltimore, it's got Lamar Jackson. He's been there. Kansas City isn't there. It's the year of the wild card, even though I picked the Broncos. I'm contradicting myself. It could easily be the Bills or the Ravens. Who else did I say? The Packers, I guess. I don't believe the Packers will win the Super Bowl. I believe the Ravens, the Bills. I believe, honestly, I don't think the Texans or the Jags, now that I'm thinking about it, are ahead of the Broncos or the Ravens or the Bills, even though any one of those teams in the AFC. I think I said every team that I think is going to make the playoffs in the AFC besides New England as a contender. And then in the NFC, I only put Philadelphia as a contender, and then the Rams are my second favorite contender, And Green Bay is like a half contender and a half pretender, but I'll just put them as my third contender. Pittsburgh Steelers, I didn't forget about you guys. You guys are pretenders. You guys think the earth is flat, but actually it's you. You guys are one of the most boring. You're the top 2 boring teams in the NFL, along with the Falcons. And then the top 3rd most boring is the Cardinals right now. So you guys are the honorary donkeys of my video. Those are my picks for Week 18 of the NFL season 2025. And this is my last video for this year. Well, it's the 31st. Well, for this NFL season. Not doing any playoff picks. I kind of gave you a preview in this video. If you want me to do more, like picks for next season when I do them, maybe show me some more love. It's just more work for me. Like, why would I do that? But I will be picking again next season is the plan. This is a really rewarding experience for me, and I'm really enjoying it. I declare Ronnie's picks, my picks, a success. And thank you guys so much for joining me this season. It was truly great. Hope you guys have a happy new year, and hope to see you guys next year. Thank you so much.